Hey guys, welcome to Pokédex, the channel where I build decks for the Pokemon trading card game. Today we're going to be building around Palkia, which is another Pokemon from the newest set Breakpoint. Pretty exciting. This dude, for a couple of water energy, does Aqua Turbo, 40 damage, and you search your deck for 2 water energy cards and attach them to one of your benched Pokemon, shuffle your deck afterwards. So, this is kind of like Virizion EX's first attack, if you guys remember that, and Virizion EX, as you guys know, was a pretty powerful Pokemon. Palkia EX does not have the ability that allows you guys to be immune to special conditions, which is unfortunate, but it does have a second attack that we'll get to look at in a second. So the goal of the deck is to get Palkia EX attacking as soon as possible and powering up some big dude on our bench, and that big dude is going to be Primal Kyogre EX, hopefully. This Pokemon for 4 energy, it's a lot of energy, as Tidal Storm, 150 damage. You have to move 2 energy attached from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon, and that's where Palkia's second attack will come into play. We'll get to that in a second. And this attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon EX. So it spreads a lot of damage around. What we want to be doing with this guy is to deal 150 and then 30 to everything else. Hopefully the active Pokemon from our opponent already took the 40 damage from Palkia EX, so it will get knocked out, and then later we can just Lysander out the guys that we want to kill and just use Tidal Storm for the win. As I mentioned, we move energy back, so maybe we are powering up another Primal Kyogre on our bench, or potentially just a Palkia EX with Pearl Hurricane. So this guy for 4 energy actually has a pretty interesting secondary attack. 120 damage, 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon, So it snipes on the bench for 30 and it does 120. That's a lot of damage. It's kind of similar to what Darkrai EX used to do, but that was only 90-30, but of course it was way easier to power with just 3 energy. This one costs 4, and they all have to be water, which is the only type that we play. But yeah, by moving energy around with Primal Kyogre EX, it's actually quite usual that the Palkia EX gets charged up for Pearl Hurricane. So yeah, that's definitely an attack that comes into play a lot. The rest of our Pokemon are Manaphy EX, also from the newest set. This guy allows us to retreat for free with our Pokemon that have water energy attached, so that's also like Darkrai EX used to do for the Darkness type Pokemon, or actually the Darkness energy. And then Mineral Pump, it's not the greatest of attacks for a couple of water energy, the 60, but it does have a very interesting effect, which is healing 30 damage from each of our benched Pokemon. This guy is actually useful against bat decks, so if the opponent has spread some damage around, we can actually use Mineral Pump and just heal all that damage away. The rest of our Pokemon, we still have another attacker with Lugia EX. I just had the Lugia here, cut one of the Primal Kyogres. I was playing 3-3 because, I don't know, I felt like I did have, usually only needed the single Primal Kyogre EX. If we needed the second, we have it, and we also have the Super Rod that we can use to shuffle it back. So kind of felt like I wanted a second attacker that dealt a lot of damage for just a couple of energy, and Lugia EX kind of fits the build. Also, it has a different weakness which is sometimes relevant, and of course the resistance to fighting Pokemon, which is never something that you can't discount. And then as far as card drawing Pokemon, we have a couple of Shaymin EX and one Hoopa EX, which is really nice in this Mega EX decks because we want to fill our bench with a lot of Pokemon. As far as items go, we are playing 3 Max Elixir. We also saw this in our last deck. This deck actually plays a lot more water energy than the previous one, which was the Darkrai deck did. That one played 9 and this one plays 14, so we will be hitting a lot with Max Elixir, which is pretty good. At least in the early stages of the game, where we are powering up our Palkia EX. After we start attacking with it, we get all those energy out of the deck, so the Max Elixir hits less, but we might still shuffle some back with the Super Rod, you never know. So it's really good to have. We have 4 Trainer's Mail because we want to hit the consistency cards to be able to set up our game, and of course the Max Elixirs as well, so that's really nice. We have 4 Ultra Ball to grab our Pokemon, 4 VS Seeker for obvious reasons. We want to play our supporters over and over again, and as far as supporters go, we actually play a lot of one-offs. So we have 1 AZ. This guy is, for obvious reasons, allows us to just get one of our Pokemon out of the active position mostly, and of course allows us to redraw cards with our Hoopa and Shaymin and all that. We have a single Delinquent because there's really no stadium that we want to play in this deck. There's of course Rough Sea, but I actually tested Rough Seas in this deck when I built it, and I was getting a lot of Manectric Bats decks, and with Rough Seas in there, it was actually bad for us, believe me. I thought it was going to be good because he healed the damage of the bats, but usually they play it so that they can play the bats and deal the damage in the same turn that they attack with the Mega Manectric, and there was, or sorry, the Manectric EX, which was fully powered for 140 damage, and that's a lot. So usually there's really nothing you can do. So I just decided to cut those stadiums. Oh yeah, and they were also hurting me because I want to deal a lot of damage. As I talked about, the math on this deck is actually quite finicky. We have like 150 plus the 40, that's 190. So if the opponent heals off the damage, because the Manectric Bats deck can actually use the Rough Seas also to heal off the damage, it was hurting more than helping. So I cut both stadiums. I added Delinquent in here, which for a single card kind of fits the stadium slot, so to speak, because it gets rid of our opponent's stadiums and makes the opponent discard 3 cards. Well, if the opponent is not playing stadiums, I guess this card is useless because we are not playing stadiums either. But yeah, it's just a random card that we have here that allows us to take care of stadiums that we might want to. We have a single X-Maniac, pretty useful against decks like Bats, for example, which are potentially very good against us. And of course, if we want to hit sorry, I'm missing the deck, the name of the Pokemon, Giratina EX, that's it. With our Primal Kyogre, we can, if we use the X-Maniac. We have a couple of Lysander, also staple in decks. We have 2 Professor versus Observations and 4 Professor Sycamore as far as card drawing goes. We also have 1 Skyla. I feel like Skyla kind of helps us a lot by grabbing some, like the Spirit Link, which is very useful, of course. It also grabs the Max Elixir on the early stages of the game, and if nothing else, it grabs us an Ultra Ball, which can allow us to draw extra cards or just a supporter for the next turn if we really want to be sure to hit the Delinquent or the AZ or the X-Maniac or something like that. We have a single Zerosic. This guy is here to get rid of items mostly, because if the opponent headringers our Palkia early on, we want to be able to attack for just 2 energy, not 3. So I guess the Zerosic is really nice in that regard. And then we have 3 Kyogre Spirit Link, which are the only tools that we play here. We just want to evolve the Kyogre. We don't really have space for more because we are playing 14 water energy, as I mentioned. We have a lot of energy, and we want all those energy to hit with Max Elixir and to bring out of the deck and to be able to attack with our Primal Kyogre. That's the deck. Let's take it for a spin. Alright, let's go play our match against the Psychic, Lightning and Colorless deck. I just hope it's not Night March, because I don't think we can beat that. It's just too fast for this deck. Okay, guess I'm going with Tails, and we win the coin flip. Tails never fails, as you guys should know by now. We start off, which is pretty good, so I'm actually going to have the energy drop on the first turn, I hope. We start off with the Kyogre EX that we have in hand, and we also have the Ultra Ball and the Max Elixir, so hopefully we can grab a Palkia. Actually, I'm going for the Ho-Ho, obviously, but then we grab a Palkia and we can hopefully use the Max Elixir on it. Okay, it seems like we're playing against Manectric. So I'm going to play this ball, and I'm going to discard, I guess, a Trainer's Mail and the X-Maniac, because I want the... let's see if we have the Hoopa. Yeah, we do, that's nice. I want AZ to be able to retreat from the Kyogre EX, and then I want the Sycamore for the following turn to be able to draw cards. So let's go get Pokemon. I want a Palkia, I guess a Manaphy, and the Primal, but let's see. Yeah, maybe I just grab a Shaman instead, because this way I might just draw into the Spirit Link, which I really need, so... Maybe should have gone for the Manaphy, because I'm not going to evolve anyways. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, we find the energy. That's perfect. Let's put it on the Palkia. Let's also drop the second energy, and I guess I will AZ before drawing with a Shaman. I will take some damage, but it's only 20 damage and potentially 40 because of the Muscle Band. And the opponent would also be dealing damage with overrun attack anyways, so might as well just take the extra 20. Okay, we drew the Spirit Link, which is perfect. I'm just going to put it down. I don't think Manectric decks play a lot of tool removal. I guess Zerosic sometimes, but if he plays Zerosic as his supporter, I guess I'm going to be a happy player, because that's not very good for the first turn. It's usually kind of a disruptive strategy. So everything turned out quite nicely for us. We have the Mega, we have the Palkia EX ready to go. We might even draw into 2 energy, which would just mean that the Kyogre EX gets fully charged, or the Primal Kyogre EX gets fully charged straight away. because we will attack with Palkia, and then we will have the 2 energy from the Palkia, from Palkia's attack, and then the 2 energy from our hand into the Primal Kyogre because of Alpha Growth, the ancient trait, which allows us to drop 2 energy on the Primal. Okay, super scoop up. Our opponent fails. He was probably trying to draw extra cards with that Shaymin. He's kind of struggling, it seems. He doesn't find bats, or those many at least. Okay. He is in fact going to just hit us for 2020. It's okay though. We have had a very explosive turn. So let's play this thing. Let's see what we have here. Kyogre, Spirit Link. Let's grab it, I guess. And I'm going to play this Ultra Ball, discard the Xerosic, and I guess the Lysander. And I can go for the Kyogre so that I can make use of the Spirit Link. Yeah, I don't really need too much now, so I'm just going to start building my bench. Having 2 Kyogres or 2 Primals is very good, because we can reuse the energy that we throw around. So let's just play the Sycamore. Hopefully the last bench space is going to be used for a Manaphy. I'm not going to put a Lugia down in this matchup. Maybe I just go for a Shaymin so that I can draw the second energy. Wow, we got nothing out of this Stranger's Mail. Doesn't really matter too much. So let's just discard the Lugia that we are not planning to play. Yeah, I'm not going to put the Manaphy down, but at the same time, I don't think it's really too worrisome in this point. I mean, I have the AZ back there. So... okay, we drew the energy. That's perfect. Let's just go and put it on the Kyogre. Yes, I want to put the other one. There we go. And now I just use Palkia. Aqua Turbo. 40 damage, and we are setting up our opponent for the knockout next turn. Yep. Being able to just kill that. We do have the Lysander, but I don't think I'll use it, because... yeah, I think I'll just... how do I retreat from the Palkia though? I can just AZ something like the Shaymin and then play the Manaphy down to be able to retreat. Or I can just retreat from the Palkia with the AZ. I don't know. Let's see what happens here. Okay, we see Parallel City. I wonder which side my opponent is playing. Neither can be good for him. I mean, protecting from damage is okay from the water type Pokemon, but our Primal Kyogre does 130. Let's see, we don't have the Delinquent in here, but yeah, he plays the and he plays a Headringer on our Palkia. We weren't thinking about attacking with Palkia anyways, so it doesn't really matter too much. And I'm still doing 130 damage with the Primal Kyogre, so everything I think will be fine. Let's see, I have the option of just healing off all the damage from the Palkia EX. It will be left at 40, and I guess my opponent can take a knockout, but at the same time there's upside in just having the energy in play. So I think I'm going to bring the Shaymin. This is definitely probably not right, but I don't know. I think keeping the energy around might be nice. He can just kill the Shaymin anyway, so I mean, he does need a Lysander, but I don't know. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, I'm dealing enough damage, so Tidal Storm. Bam! 130! And we move the energy around to our Kyogre EX, which is super good. Just need to find a couple of energy next turn so that we can keep this going. And if the opponent... okay, so he just concedes. Yeah, he would have to find a way to deal 40 damage to our bench guy, which might happen, might not, I don't know. And his bench was also stuck at 3 because of his own stadium. So yeah, I guess that's a quick match. So I think I'm just going to play another game for you guys. So hang on tight. Let's go for the second match. It seems like we're playing a fairy deck. I guess fairy Pokemon are better right now. Okay, so we choose Tails again, and this time we miss. Okay, it's fine. Doesn't really matter too much. So fairy decks are getting a lot better because of Max Potion. Okay, we are taking a mulligan here, but they are kind of slow still against Night March and all that. Well, I guess we're also kind of slow, so I don't really know how these two decks pair together. I guess we're going to find out. So we start off with the Kyogre EX, and we do have the Ultra Ball, but we don't have card draw, so I hope I have at least a Hoopa or something like that in there. Okay, my opponent starts off with a Shaymin EX, and he does find a Xerneas, but I guess he drew it from the mulligan, or else there's really no reason to not put it into the active position. So... okay, we see an Ultra Ball, discarding an X-Minic and another Ultra Ball. Oh, that's curious. Shaymin EX, okay. He plays a Shaymin after having discarded an Ultra Ball. I don't know if I would have done that myself, but oh well. Okay, I don't really know what my opponent has in hand. This was a curious turn, no doubt. I am going to play the Ultra Ball, but I don't really know what to discard, so I think the first card is Lysander, and do I go for the energy? Actually, I think I'm going for the VS Seeker. I mean, using VS Seeker for Lysander is not useful at all. Okay, we do have the Upa, which is great. And because this deck doesn't play Battle Compressors, it doesn't really matter if we have the VS Seeker in hand, if we don't have the obvious 3 Pokemon. And it doesn't really matter if we have the VS Seeker in hand if we haven't played the supporter yet. So, going to play the Palkia. I'm going to play the Max Elixir. We find a lot of energy actually, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this one on here, and I'm going to put the other one. Maybe just go for the active, because we could actually, if we found another Max Elixir, attack this turn. That would have been great. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, maybe I should have done that. This was bad on my part, I guess. I mean, I didn't actually lose anything, because I would have retreated anyways. Well, there's really nothing that I can do now. Don't think there's any use in playing the Max Elixir this turn. I'm just going to save it for the Kyogre next. I mean, it's possible that we didn't even hit at all, but there would be no disadvantage, literally no disadvantage, because the Kyogre, we have to play an energy there this turn anyways, so yeah, I think this was really bad. My opponent could potentially... no, yeah, we would have our Kyogre ready to attack next turn, potentially. If we just drew the Spirit Link or something like that. Yeah, this was bad. Definitely bad. Bad play on my part. Oh well, let's keep playing. Let's just retreat into the Palkia X. Maybe I can just... doesn't matter too much. I don't know. Let's see. Next turn I can play 2 energy. So let's just play Aqua Turbo. We only have 2 energy left, so it's going to be really hard. Maybe I should have played the Max Elixir, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to be too good right now anyways. Yeah, maybe I should have played the Max Elixir. I don't know. I'm still learning how to play this deck also, so... my opponent seems to be going off. I mean, another energy there, so he's going for 5. So he kills our Palkia next turn. So I guess this is the last time that we use the Aqua Turbo attack. Maybe I just evolve here. I don't know. Okay, we do have the VS Seeker in there. We have the Lysander, which might be useful. This 140, and we return 2 energy to hand. I'd really like to have the Primal Kyogre down. And I actually think I'm going to evolve this turn. Maybe just play energy and evolve, because if my opponent has Lysander, even if he plays a Fairy Energy, can't kill the Primal Kyogre, but he can kill the Palkia EX, which I guess is also going to happen. Yeah, I'm really split. This is a really hard decision, so... yeah, I'm going to play this thing. Let's see if we hit. I mean, it's also almost impossible that we would, but we just have 2 energy, but we never know, right? It's 6 cards, it's a lot of cards, so... I'm going to put this Palkia down. I don't know. This is a really hard turn for us. I know I'm taking a lot of time, but I'm just going to put the energy here, and I'm going to evolve. Yeah. Sorry for that, but it's really hard. That really hard decision there. I mean, the opponent can't kill our Primal Kyogre now, which I guess is the best thing, because we would lose all the energy. But I guess he can still use Gardevoir on the Palkia. I'm assuming he gets everything, like the Mega and the Stadium, to be able to retreat. You have to assume that your opponent is going to have everything. because he also adds the Aromatisse, it doesn't really... Okay, so there's the stadium. It wouldn't... I mean, the AZ would be enough for the Xerneas to be able to retreat without losing energy. But anyway, yeah, he's going to Sycamore, so I think he's going to evolve this turn. So our Palkia EX is just dead here. Let's hope the Primal Kyogre is enough. Okay. The good news is my opponent has a couple of Shaman in there, so I think they are going to tank some of the damage, which is really good for us. So my opponent just 1-8 KOs the Palkia EX. Good news is he's only at 6, so our Primal is going to take 2 hits to be killed. And that's, I think, pretty cool. Another cool trick that the Primal Kyogre does... Okay, so we have an Ultra Ball, but I don't want to discard any of these cards. So I'm just going to put the Palkia down. And I'm going to drop both energy on the active, because it will move 2 energy to the Palkia, so I can just kind of play 2 energy at this turn on the Palkia. It's kind of like a cheat, and we will be able to attack with the Primal Kyogre again next turn anyway, so because the opponent cannot accelerate 2 energy and attack on the same turn. We are still in very bad place, let me tell you that. So, don't really know. There's a Lysander. I wonder if my opponent is going to use it now to kill the Palkia. That would mean our Primal Kyogre would still take 2 hits to be killed. Actually, that would be bad for my opponent, I think. So, yeah, he's just going to take a hit on the Primal Kyogre. I just hope he doesn't draw the Max Potion. I wasn't even thinking about that, but now that I have, it's just so scary. The fact that he can just find a Max Potion and just heal off all the damage that we just dealt. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, it just retreats into the Xerneas. That's interesting. We do have the Via Seeker though, so we can actually kill. Oh, so he's using Fairy Transfer first. That's really smart from my opponent. Let's see how he plays this. Okay. We have to assume that he has the Mega in hand, right? This is really, really hard. Okay, so I have the Lysander, and I think I have to use it to bring the Mega that has already 150 damage on it and kill it this turn, because if my opponent heals off the damage, we are just dead, I think. On the other hand, we could bring out the unevolved one, but we wouldn't be killing either of his Pokemon or any of his Pokemon, so I'm going for this one. I don't know if that's right. Yeah, but I'm kind of scared, and then we do charge up our Palkia EX anyway, so I don't know. This is definitely scary, because mostly we have to draw a lot of cards next turn, and we have to draw into the 2 energy. Maybe we draw some energy out of this. Oh, there's a Sycamore. That's really nice. So here's the problem. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, my opponent can even potentially kill us here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we got rid of 1 energy, but he can still play it from his hand, right? Yeah. Both of these guys are at 50 damage. And this guy is at... If he evolves, he will be at 180. I don't know. Let's see what happens here. This is super scary for us, but... Okay, Brilliant Arrow. Doesn't kill us. Let's see. And my opponent is Hellbent. It doesn't have any cards in his hand. I don't know if it matters too much. I just need to find a couple of energy here, or else I am royally screwed. I'm just going for the Birch, because at this point, I don't know. Yeah, go for the Kyogre. Maybe I should have gone for the Shaman. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, we have no draw. Basically, no energy. We only have 2 in our deck. We know that, so it's really not surprising. So let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, maybe we can find the... I don't know, I mean, it's really hard. Right now I'm just going to retreat and attack with the Palkia, and maybe hit one of the Shaymins so that next turn we can take a knockout. But I still think it's going to be super hard to win this game. Our opponent is just going to knock us out, and we basically, I think the hard part is going to be, there's really nothing else that we can do. I think the hard part is going to be finding a couple of energy, because if we do, we just win. Of course, my opponent can just draw Sycamore and draw a million cards, or just a max potion and heal off all the damage. But even a max a max potion would be enough, because we need to play the supporter to draw cards. So yeah, super hard. Yeah, I'm going with a Primal Kyogre. Doesn't really matter. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to play the Trainer's Mail. And nothing, so I'm just going for the Ultra Ball, I guess. Discard the most cards I can. Okay, let's play the first one. I'm going to discard the Birch and... no, the Delinquent and the X-Mania, because I will not be playing those for sure. No Mega, no anything. Let's see. Yeah, maybe I need to grab a guy that I can discard. Yeah, it's safer that way. That way I can actually evolve, or well, whatever. Doesn't really matter. I'd rather keep the Birch in hand. So let's see. Yeah, 1, 2, and the Super Rod is also there. So let's not grab anything. Let's just play this thing here. I want to draw the most I can out of the Shaymin. Let's go deck. And 1. Ah, that sucks so badly. I mean, I can risk it and play the Birch, because that would leave me with the most energy in the deck, but also the extra 4 cards or 3 cards that we would be shuffling, I don't think would compensate, because that would basically just be the same thing. So I'm just going to play this and hope that I draw 2 out of this 4 energy that we have in our deck right now. And we only draw 1. Okay, so this is basically the game, right? There's really nothing that I can do. I can't tank damage. Yeah. This sucks. I mean, yeah, there's really nothing that I can do here. So maybe I was wrong in killing that guy from my opponent. I should have kept it in play and attacked with a Primal Kyogre. But right now, yeah, I think my opponent just won the game. It was actually a pretty intense game, I think. This was a pretty cool game. Even though we lost, if we just had drawn the energy, we'd just be able to take 4 prizes this turn. And just killed the Shaymin in the bench and the active Gardevoir. So that was a pretty cool game. I'm actually happy with this game, although we lost. It was a pretty awesome game. I hope you guys enjoy that too. I don't mind showing losses in this channel, as long as the game is pretty cool and we actually showcased the deck nicely, and I think we did that. So I'm quite happy with that. I hope you guys are too, and this way it's also exciting because you guys won't actually know if I'm going to win or lose. So I guess that makes it extra interesting. So yeah, that's the deck. Tell me what you guys think, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye!